Hey there, Josh here, founder of Technical Writer HQ, and I have over 10 years of technical writing experience, which is why I wanted to create this video and give you the insider secrets to becoming a great technical writer. As a technical writer who has received over 300 million views on my work, and I've also written a couple of industry technical documentation books, I have quite a few things to say here. But before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button on the video and subscribe to the Technical Writer HQ channel so you can get updated about everything technical writing. If you're new to the idea of technical writing, then the most important step you can take is to write. That doesn't mean writing about anything. Ask yourself, what programs and products do you use? And ask yourself what type of documentation they're missing. Now create it and share it with their community. And bonus points here if you use this to pitch in your job interview as a part of your portfolio. Even more bonus points if you pitch the company that had the gap in their documentation. It's like saying, hey, you have this gap in your documentation, I filled it in, and look how I did it, and I did it in a great job. Are you interested in hiring me? And this is exactly how I got a job many years ago working at a company in the event marketing software space. I wrote a technical documentation book about Facebook pages and Facebook's ads manager with the intent of listing on my resume to help me land a job. And the event software company hired me because they spent sometimes upwards to $100K a month on Facebook and wanted better process documentation around it. Now, if that sounds too hard, ask yourself how you can better organize your life and habits. That checklist, that's documentation. That step-by-step guide on how to do your exercise routine is documentation. Then, of course, you need to ask what you're interested in. Do you like aerospace? Do you like thinking about the medical industry and healthcare? Do you love certain types of software? To become a great technical writer, you must be interested in the subject. Otherwise, you'll always land at average. So dial in what interests you and what interests you that you like to write about, and most importantly, what do you enjoy learning? Because learning the subject matter is often more than half the battle as a great technical writer. For many, it's easier to go through the formal route, even though most of what we need is found online today. And that's fine. Whatever way works best for your career journey in order to become a technical writer is the way you should go. If you have a background in a technical field, then you're already off to a great start. You'll even have a head start over many of those who have a pure background in writing. So let's say they have a degree in English or journalism, and you'll be ahead of those people if your background is more technical. It's easier for an aerospace company to hire someone with an aerospace engineering degree with an interest in writing to produce great documentation than it is for them to hire a writer with an interest in aerospace and then teach them all about aerospace engineering. In short, get experience, not just writing experience, particularly in the vertical that you want to get into. This is also why many technical writers make over 6 figures. You should also take different courses and training programs online. Many skills such as technical writing, graphic design skills, and vertical specific knowledge can be easily learned through online courses and certifications. And they're also great to list on your resume in order for you to stand out and say, hey, I'm interested in this technical field, even though I don't have a technical background. You'll want to look for ones that provide certificates because a certificate acts as an affirmation of the talents and qualities of a candidate and lowers the perceived risk of hiring a candidate. That's why we offer a certificate at Technical Writer HQ for technical writing and other types of writing that's more technical. And of course, make sure to follow the professionals. It's important to look at all the resources from subject matter experts who are from your field of interest, including their books, guides, articles, and training programs. It's also a great conversation starter in the interview process. So for example, the interviewer at a marketing automation technology company asks, what do you do in your free time? And you say something like, oh, I've been reading this great book, and just insert the name of a marketing leader CEO here. Have you read it before? And if you say something like that, they're going to be thinking that you are passionate about the space and avidly learning about the space to become better. And here are some of the tools that can help you stand out as a technical writer. We have FrameMaker, Microsoft Office, SharePoint, Flare, RoboHelp, Acrobat, Visio, Captivate, Camtasia, Snagit, a CMS like WordPress, ScreenFlow, Scribbler, Loom, Document 360, Proto.io, Hemingway, and Grammarly. There's quite a number of other tools here as well. And just keep in mind that these tools often have free trials and tons of tutorial videos right on YouTube. So make sure to check them out. Now, if you want to stand out in your application process for a technical writing job, you must have an online portfolio. That means you need a website on WordPress or a publishing account on a website like Medium. Without that, you're pretty much treading water and praying that they'll accept you based on non-tangible experience. So they're just really taking a guess on you. If you're looking to build up your personal brand over time to something big, I recommend using WordPress for SEO purposes to rank on Google. And only using Medium if you're only looking to write 10 to 15 articles. That's medium.com if you haven't heard about it before. Now, it's important you use these platforms to write documentation around your target industry. Having a portfolio like this is the ultimate sign you can perform on the job. To take it a step further, I recommend including video tutorials that you've edited and embed them into your writing documentation. This will make you look like a superstar. Plus, buying a couple of tools like ScreenFlow and even a small green screen can make your video tutorials look just like this one. You should also focus on showcasing your design skills in your documentation portfolio. So what does that mean? Well, that means using tools like proto.io to create example prototypes and Snagit, which is another tool we've mentioned, to do the same. Great tutorial images are a signal to prospective employers that you know technical documentation. Here are a few more tangible concepts you need to understand when it comes to technical writing skills. First, you have information design, the ability to visually and verbally represent information, including facts, graphs, statistics, and figures in the most accessible way, which is commonly understood by your target audience. Then you have information architecture, the ability to structure and organize information in the most user-friendly way. And next, typography, the ability to arrange and present the written word in the most appropriate and legible manner, depending on the type of audience and technical document that you're creating. And the last point here is that you don't need to be an exceptional designer to do these things, but you should understand the basics of graphic design, the ability to visually communicate complex information in the form of helpful illustrations. So often, having a background illustrations can help you a lot and can sometimes help you more than an English degree could within getting a job in technical writing. And here we've arrived at the part of the video in which you should work on self-identifying and what capacity you want to work in. Do you want to become a freelancer or an employee? Maybe both. If you're a freelancer, it's important to understand how to get paid. You'll need a W-9 form filled out with your employer hiring you on contract, and that's if you're based in the US. And you might get paid through different channels like Payoneer, ACH, PayPal, or Stripe. Keep in mind that some platforms hold your money and don't release it right away, and some take out a percentage. I always prefer to get paid upfront versus net 30 days. And the reason is there are many employers who will take advantage of freelancers. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. It's often hard to freelance because you have two jobs at that point. You need to land clients and you need to fulfill the work. The big thing here is you need a systematic process to landing new clients. Otherwise, freelancing will become more of a temporary job and hobby. I always recommend people to find full-time jobs that allow them to freelance, then create the process that will enable them to continuously land clients over time. And that way, if they want to go full-time on freelancing, they have the ability to do that. And ultimately, if you can become a successful freelancer, you can make a lot more money because there's no income cap there. And eventually, you can have a whole team working just for you. The next part of this journey is understanding the role that you'll be getting into. The more you understand about what a technical writer does, the easier it is to become one. Over the next several minutes, we'll take a deep dive into this position. So, who is a technical writer? Technical writers, often called technical communicators, are responsible for writing, editing, and rephrasing various technical concepts that are pertinent to the industry technology and also often software into easy to understand technical documents. Now, this may happen through what we've said before, using graphics and using video editing skills. And these technical documents include software or product policies, instruction manuals, training guides, reports, journal articles, and much more. They can also include things like video tutorials, such as the one that you're seeing here. A technical writer's job is relatively flexible in an organization, and larger organizations are typically assigned into project work groups with other technical writers, while in the case of smaller organizations, they usually work alone. And sometimes people prefer to work alone, and some people like to work with other people. It just depends on your personality type and who you are. And keep in mind that some organizations allow their technical writers to work remotely, removing location and time constraints for qualified job seekers. Oftentimes, though, remote writers are paid less than in-person writers. And since the word technical writer is a broad term for writers that create industry-specific technical content, their exact duties and responsibilities vary from organization to organization. However, their general duties and responsibilities are similar across most organizations. So your skills are going to be very transferable going from one technical writing job to another. Therefore, we'll go ahead and discuss some typical duties and responsibilities of a technical writer that you can make specific according to your industry. So technical writers in software and other technical industries work with product managers, product marketers, and engineers to produce and maintain world-class documentation. So some of these things include user guides, integration guides, API developer guides if it's a software company, and in-platform documentation. So you can think of tooltips, welcome instructions, and onboarding tutorials. And then we also have that they build and maintain customer aids that go beyond the traditional documentation. And we had mentioned a few of these already, so that includes online video, demos, guided tours, and other educational techniques. So if you're afraid of hopping on video, then this job may not be for you, depending on the technical writer position you're trying to get into. A technical writer also learns complex concepts and communicates information in a way that is engaging and understood by users. They gather customer feedback on documentation to improve usability, and they act as an editor to ensure consistency in documentation. Moreover, they need to be somewhat data savvy to monitor metrics on the usage of their documentation, as well as direct customer feedback to prioritize future documentation and what needs to be created next to solve their customers' problems and maybe it's internal team member problems, depending on the documentation you're creating. Keep in mind though, it's usually the more senior documentation specialists that analyze the data. You're usually not asked to do that as an entry-level technical writer. And there we have it. We went over more of an overview of the technical writing job. It's still important though that we take a deep dive into a couple of aspects. The first and foremost responsibility and skill of a technical writer is subject matter research. And it sounds very simple. People think of research and they just think of going to Google. But keep in mind, research is a cornerstone of any writer's process, especially when creating content backed with valid ideas and facts. And this is even more necessary for technical writing, since some forms of documentation, when crafted correctly, can help companies avoid legal trouble, and if not crafted correctly, can put them into legal trouble. So there's a huge effect on the power of documentation. Similarly, effective instruction manuals and guides, especially for complicated and major machinery and software, can help avoid operational mishaps and accidents. Technical writers go above and beyond just fundamental research when looking for facts and insights on the subject. So it's not like they just go to Google and take the first few resources that come to them. They also need to conduct a lot of interviews. They gather as much information as possible about a subject and then ultimately sift through it to single out the details they need. This is done with the information needs of the audience and their ability to comprehend what's written. Here's an example. You need to describe a new feature of the software your company is developing. I would imagine that this might sound pretty straightforward. You think to yourself, okay, I need to learn what it's called, what it does, how to use it, and there I go. I can now write this help topic. It's not that simple though. Here's a bigger list of questions you might want to try and figure out before writing anything to make sure you don't have to rewrite your documentation. What is the feature name? Is this a new feature or development of an older feature? What does it do? How do people use it? What topics cross-reference this feature? Where's the info about it, and where should it be added if it's a completely new feature? Where should it be placed within the table of contents? Are there any notes, warnings to be added to the feature description? How do I represent this well? Do I need screenshots, GIFs, diagrams, a video, and maybe something else? Now, that looks like a more or less proper list of questions you need to answer in this scenario before attempting to create a new help topic. So make sure that your research and the questions that you're answering along that process will be effective to outputting great documentation. And part of the process of doing great research is conducting audience analysis. So you're going to hear this term over and over again in the technical writer job. This involves understanding the target audience, including their demographics, their level of technical knowledge related to the product and company, and their interests and needs. If you get your audience analysis right, then you'll have a better chance of getting the user experience right. This includes the readability research conducted for the technical documentation on the final users after the product or feature has been launched. For example here, conducting usability testing and creating user tutorials. This is a process of you understanding how easy it is to use the product, then explaining how to use it for the target users. And often you're the first person to try out new features, so keep that in mind. And of course, you need strong editing skills. This includes proofreading, content review, spelling and punctuation, structure and style, tone of voice, and technical vocabulary. I recommend keeping a grammar book by you at all times. I always have one right in my backpack and on my desk. The best technical writers whom I know reread the same grammar books every few months. And it's not just a coincidence that that's the case. When we've done the research, we need to organize the facts. Writing on the technical side already involves being very direct with the information the writer is giving out. This requires strong and timely facts that will carry the weight of the content. Depending on the type of technical writer and the task that they're working on, they'll dedicate a portion of their allotted writing time to organizing all the facts in order of importance to the text. Then they'll go ahead and build the rest of the content around it. For example, a technical writer working on a white paper will collect facts about certain events when they're describing the problem. Then they'll go ahead and organize those facts in a way that best supports the solution. And organizing facts in a specific manner helps writers fine-tune their writing process and dedicate more time to effective research. Moving on, we have the responsibility to create and deliver content. The writers take the set of content guidelines at their company and align their accumulated content with crafting content that will assist the technical staff and customers as per its function. This specific responsibility is where writing styles and formats differ the most, since dozens of types of content fall under the technical writing umbrella. Some writers may perform an internet search and create content similar to what they find, modifying it slightly to suit project needs. But for any real technical product, they're going to have to do a little bit more than that, as we had mentioned before, which means they'll need to look through academic texts and manuals and craft their versions of these simply from the formatting knowledge they have gained. Regardless of how their content development process goes, the writers have to generate content and deliver it through existing channels to the pre-decided audience. Some writers may also be responsible for content distribution and promotion. This is usually the case with small to medium-sized enterprises with limited technical writing resources. So that means that you may have to operate Twitter a little bit or social media. Again, that's usually just for small companies. Now that we have looked at a technical writer's typical roles and responsibilities and portfolio, let us move to the qualifications and experience that an ideal candidate is expected to meet. This way, you can reverse engineer your way into getting the job by fitting the description. The first example we'll take a look at is for a role in an online tech company. Here are some things you'd see in a job description: 3+ years of technical writing experience, knowledge-based documentation experience, strong written and verbal communication and experience working with content in multiple mediums, experience working cross-departmentally to communicate the nuts and bolts of a product, strong experience owning an end-to-end documentation creation process, excellent attention to detail and the ability to prioritize and work on multiple projects in a fast-paced, changing environment. Experience working with the following tools is also preferred: Confluence, Jira, Git, exposure to documentation publishing software like Madcap, RoboHelp, or something else that's wiki-based. And that's just an example. Technical writing job descriptions really do vary from industry to industry. Usually the tools remain very commonplace no matter on the company and industry you're working on, so that makes things a little bit easier. But it's best that we take another look at a job description to give you a well-rounded idea of what type of descriptions you may come across. So here we have one for a technical writing position at a SaaS company. Keep in mind that SaaS is one of the fastest growing industries and has a huge need for technical writers. In the job description, we see that applicants should know how to oversee team collaboration with development, QA, product management, and other groups to plan, research, write, and revise printed and online documentation. And this includes general overviews, tutorials, installation, configuration instructions, training class materials, and API documentation. And writing for a variety of audiences from non-technical end users to programmers, system administrators, integrators, and establish team policies and procedures, conform to existing styles, policies, and procedures, oversee peer editing and production review work, integrate use case and functional data into user documentation examples. Now, if you're to become a technical writer, you need to know that almost all the current global industries have an underlying need for technical documentation. So that's great news because the job is in high demand. However, some industries have an increasingly high demand for technical writers. And when that's the case, they tend to pay a lot more. So what are those industries? Well, we have the heavy machinery industry, the software industry, automobile industry, medical industry, healthcare sector, education sector, defense industry, aerospace industry, and consumer electronics industry are among the fastest growing industries in technical writing. It should be noted that there are specific niches within each industry, and you have to find the niche that suits you best based on your experience and also your interests. For example, even within the software industry, you can work on different types of software companies, such as service-based software companies, consumer-based software companies, and even startups. And all of these will require different things from you that you'll need to be able to adjust to. Hopefully, by watching this video, you've made some progress in self-identifying where your technical writing career path lies. One universal skill that all technical writers need, no matter the career path, is using an efficient writing system. So here we have an example of the writing system that technical writers should use. As you can see, the first thing to do is analyze the audience and purpose. You have to make sure the target audience is right. Then we move to writing a purpose statement, gathering information about the subject, writing an outline, and then last part here is writing the draft. Now, that's just the beginning though. After the initial draft, you have to revise and edit the draft for better coherence and clarity. Finally, the draft needs to be checked for readability, and finally, proofreading is done. So if you don't understand the steps in this system, you won't become a great technical writer. So make sure to put it in your memory so you can use this whenever you write documentation. And because you want to become a technical writer, it's important you have the right salary expectations in mind. That way you can ask for the right salary and you're not disappointed when they throw out a low figure, or you're not surprised if it's higher than what you asked for. And keep in mind that these salaries are dependent on the industry, company, and location of where you work. In short, if you work in a more expensive location for a company, say San Francisco, and it's for a company that really needs technical writers, so a complex software company, then you're more likely to get paid more. According to Glassdoor, the average salary of a technical writer in the US is about $57,000, with the highest salary capping out at $79,000. These figures are based on over 6,000 salary reports. And according to Indeed, as per 1,800 salary reports that they looked at, technical writers earn about $57,000 on average, which is almost the same as Glassdoor's figure. And according to PayScale, it reports that technical writers earn about $60,000 per year on average, with salaries ranging from $42,000 to $87,000. So here we have several different sources for you to understand salary estimates. And keep in mind that senior technical writers in high positions within the field can make well over six figures. So you're thinking of people who may be managing a team of technical writers are going to make more than an individual technical writer. And to better understand some of the work you need to be prepared to create, here's an example. Your design skills need to be up to par to create product descriptions like the one that you see here. And this doesn't take too much studying to understand how to create something like this. And it just takes some practice, and you can do it. In this second example, a lot of technical writing is well written. However, there are a few mistakes that a great technical writer wouldn't make. That includes what's in the first sentence. Can you spot it? I'll give you a second. It's the first word. Great technical writers don't use the word recently because its meaning changes over time. If you read the same report a year from now, you may be thinking that recently is referring to a few days ago, even though it's referring to over a year ago. So talk about some serious misinterpretation because of the work done by a technical writer. That's why it's important to be specific and tangible with those small details, and it'll help distinguish you as a great technical writer. Now, there are many areas where you can look for jobs in technical writing thanks to the internet. I recommend going to places like Indeed, LinkedIn, Technical Writer HQ Jobs Board, and Upwork, and other freelancing websites. Often, freelancing websites don't pay too well, but sometimes you come across a few gems in terms of the clients that you work with, and that may even turn into full-time positions or long-term freelance work. Also consider using your LinkedIn profile to reach out and directly connect to hiring managers at the company that you want to work for. Ask them questions about the role and try to offer some form of value, no matter how small. And since you're working on your resume to get the job, you want to make sure that you can take care of these three things. Keep your resume to one page. Make your resume action-oriented and put numbers everywhere that make the work and the value that you provided tangible. I won't go too in depth here since we have a whole video on how to write a technical writer resume, and I've linked in the description below this video, so make sure to go ahead and check it out. People really do love that video, and it's helped people get jobs already. So totally worth it to watch it. And an easy way to skip ahead of the line of job applicants is to just be proactive and not reactive to the hiring process. This means emailing and LinkedIn messaging the hiring managers and connecting with existing technical writing leads from the target company that you want to work at. I recommend using these tools to find the emails of the people whom you want to connect with, and they're rather inexpensive, and you can find them online just by typing their name into Google, and they also have a small learning curve. So here we have Hunter.io, Clearbit, and they come with a Chrome extension that you can use in particular, and Lucia. And of course, you want to go ahead and make a CRM or a simple spreadsheet to keep track of all the companies that you want to work at and follow up consistently with those companies. If you don't do this, then you can only blame yourself if you don't get a technical writing job. The people who get jobs fast always create a spreadsheet to follow up with prospective employers and for reaching out. So that is getting a job 101. So you have to do that. And there you have it. You have now learned the fundamentals of how to become a great technical writer. Go ahead and comment down below if you have any questions. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you can keep up with everything technical writing. And with that said, I wish you the best of luck in your career, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.